The role of bone marrow in consciousness storage, a hidden reservoir of intelligence, memory, and spiritual signal. We often think of memory as something stored in the brain, of consciousness as a spark in the mind. But what if this view is too small? What if awareness itself, subtle, silent, sacred, lives not just in your head, but deep in your bones? What if the marrow within your skeleton holds a kind of cellular memory, a hidden intelligence passed through generations and refined through spiritual practice? This is not metaphor. It is a physiological and energetic truth. In this teaching, we journey into one of the least understood regions of the subtle body, the bone marrow, to uncover its role in memory, identity, and spiritual light. Section 1. What is bone marrow biologically? Let us begin with what science agrees on. Bone marrow is a soft, sponge-like tissue found inside your long bones, pelvis, and spine. It has two types: red marrow, which produces red and white blood cells; yellow marrow, which stores fat and energy reserves. It is one of the most active organs in your body, even though it is silent and hidden. Every second, it generates millions of new cells, including the very blood that nourishes your brain and organs. But beyond these functions, there's something more subtle. Bone marrow is home to stem cells, the source code of your body's renewal. And wherever there is source code, there is potential for deep memory. Section 2. The Yogic View. Bones as Libraries of Light. In certain Himalayan lineages, it is taught that the subtle body does not end at the skin. It penetrates bone, it radiates from the marrow. Here, the idea is not just symbolic, it's direct. Consciousness stores impressions in matter, especially in the densest, most inner layers. Bone is the deepest structure, and marrow is the center of that depth. Sages said, the bones remember trauma, strength, and devotion. The marrow remembers lineage, insight, and intent. Even modern somatic therapy points toward this, that trauma can be held not just in muscle, but in the core of the body, in tissue, in bone. When yogis sat for long hours on stone floors, they weren't just practicing stillness. They were activating deep skeletal memory, concentrating energy in marrow-rich zones to awaken what lies beneath ordinary thought. Section 3. Scientific Clues. Bone marrow and neuroimmunity. Recent studies suggest a direct link between bone marrow and brain activity. How? 1. Bone marrow communicates with the brain. It sends immune cells and chemical signals. It can influence mood, alertness, and even memory formation. 2. The skull has its own marrow. The bones of your head contain channels that send immune cells directly to the brain. 3. Stress affects bone marrow output. When under emotional or spiritual stress, the body creates different kinds of cells, affecting mood and clarity. All of this points to a loop between your bones and your thoughts, between what your marrow creates and what your mind perceives. In this loop, memory is not just neural, it is hormonal, cellular, energetic. Section 4. Bone marrow and reincarnational memory. Many advanced yogic traditions suggest that spiritual realizations are imprinted into the subtle body, and that some of these impressions survive death. Where are they stored? Some say in the pranic field, others in the seed body, the subtlest layer. But certain tantric sources go further. They say the impressions are carried into the bone structure, especially if the person died in deep practice or stillness. This may be why. Relics from realized beings are often found in bones. Cremated ashes of saints sometimes form crystal-like structures. Yogis seek bone caves for retreat, not just for silence, but to sit where memory lingers in the earth. Bone is not dead. It is a witness and perhaps a recorder. Section 5. Practices to awaken bone consciousness. If you want to connect with the intelligence of your marrow, you must first slow down. Then listen deeply. Here are ways to do that. 1. Seated stillness on hard ground allows vibrations to travel directly through the skeleton. Over time, awareness settles in the bones themselves. 2. Chanting that resonates in the spine and hips. Use low-pitched tones, sustained. Feel them inside your pelvis, femurs, and sacrum. 3. Marrow-directed breath awareness. Breathe slowly into the lower spine, legs, and ribs. Imagine light entering the bones, not just the lungs. 4. Light fasting in silence. Reduces outer input, makes inner vibration more noticeable. 5. Meditative inquiry into what feels ancient in your body. Sit with the question, what does my body remember that I've forgotten? The goal is not to analyze. It is to listen to the bone field as a subtle organ of memory. Final reflection. Your mind forgets. Your brain gets tired. But deep inside, there's a library made of silence and cells. Bone is your foundation. Marrow is your memory. And hidden in that red gold center, something waits, a light you may have carried for lifetimes. Let your spine be still. Let your hips rest on the earth and listen. The bones remember. If this teaching helped you feel your body in a new way, subscribe for future transmissions. Next, we explore blood as memory, ancient yogic views on life storage, where we'll examine the intelligence of the bloodstream and how emotion, devotion, and karma are carried in its flow.